stadium lights, with 3 beer buzz before halftime. My heart racing like it's 4th and 5 on a Midwest Saturday night.
Welcome back to Mizzou Storytellers. I'm Dave Matter.
I'm Loretta Jones.
Yeah, we're back.
We are back.
It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it got pretty crazy there for a while. Just busy
yeah.
around the office. And
Constantly.
Lots of meetings, lots of happenings.
Yeah.
I'm gone, you're gone. Kids are sick.
Kids have been sick. My whole house got it except me.
I think I've talked to your wife more today than you have. I think Logan's been in our office like 10 times today.
Yeah.
And luckily, she knows best that she's like, I'm just going to let her rest in here for a little bit. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to record the podcast here in a few. She's like, yeah, I figured. That's why we'll just hold on to her. I was like, thanks, Molly.
Just hold on to her.
We'll
like, I
find
think
her
she'll
later.
be fine.
She'll be fine. Yeah. I feel weird I have a hat on today, and everyone is weirded out by it. Okay. I have a hat on because... All right, maybe we'll talk about this later, but we had a special guest in the department today.
Yeah.
And I was visiting with this person, and then I had a budget meeting over at Matsy. Did not know it was pouring down raining, and I had no umbrella. I had to park over by the indoor football facility and then walk over to Matsy because there's no parking spots, and I had no umbrella. So I was just soaked, but I had a hat. I'm like, well, at least I'll try to keep my head dry. So I put a hat on, and I haven't taken it off since. Mm-mm. But people are acting like I'm walking around the office with a sombrero on. Somebody came up to me and like, oh my gosh, I didn't recognize you with a hat on. I'm like, what does that mean?
I didn't either. So you were laminating the photo for today's guest in our mailroom, and I was walking over to go say hi, and I was walking through, and I almost walked past you. It was like I was like up on you before I realized that it was you. I was like, this is weird. Like you look different. You're like, I have a hat on.
Nicole Brady was like physically startled. Oh my gosh. I'm like, what? I didn't recognize you with the hat on. I'm like, it's not like a fake mustache. It's just a hat.
I did. As he was walking into Hearns, I drove our guest over today, and I was waiting for him in the restroom, and I hear Dave coming in from the front doors, and as he starts to get close, I acted like I was on the phone. And I was like, yes, he's wearing a gray hat and a gold polo. I have never seen him before.
So weird. Someone else was like, having a bad hair day. I'm like, well, kind of. I mean, I just put a hat on. Sorry. It's not like a top hat. It's like, it is a Mizzou baseball cap.
Next time it should be. Like, I'm going to just start giving you a whole bunch of funky hats to wear in the office and just randomly put them on.
Like a Pilgrim's, three-cornered hat. Like, try that for a while.
I want to get you a Kangol hat is what I want. I feel like that would have been your vibe in college.
Backwards.
You know me.
Yes, a backwards Kangol hat. Either you or Babalu, one of the two.
Yeah, big old diamond earring in there too. It is incredible though, like how just a hat, can completely throw people off. Like you said, like a Halloween mask. Like, I'm wearing a ball cap. Like,
I know.
I think because it was in the office, and at this time it was like 11:30 noon.
Yeah.
We had all already seen you multiple times throughout the morning, and you did not have a hat on.
Clark Kent, the Superman. Yeah.
And I feel like did you have your jacket on this morning?
I did.
Yeah.
It was a little chilly. I got soaked. I mean, it was raining hard.
Yeah.
And then someone pointed out to me, and I won't name the name, like, yeah, when Mike Alden was AD, he didn't allow people to wear hats in the building. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. Good for that person.
Anyway.
Okay.
So we have
yes,
a
I've
guest.
alluded to today's guest.
Yeah, we're not done.
No.
We just got started.
I'm excited. It's somebody that I've mentioned multiple times that I know pretty well, so I'm excited for everybody else to get to know them very well.
Friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast.
Frequent listener, I think.
I think frequent-ish.
I'd hope so at this point.
Yeah.
Should we bring him in?
I think so.
Okay.
He's a tiger. He's a junior Billiken. He's a son. He's the parking czar. He's a true son. He's the assistant AD for revenue generation. He's Connor Jordan, and he's today's guest on Mizzou Storytellers.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yay.
Why is that so funny?
I don't know. Blink twice to let them know that you're okay.
I'm all right. I'm all right. We're operating about 70% excited, 30% petrified for what Loretta's found, but
Oh, don't be scared.
No,
it's good.
Don't be scared.
So we've got multiple junior Billikens on this podcast right now.
We do. We have more than one.
Steve and Loretta will both talk very slowly for you.
Yeah.
If you have trouble understanding anything here, if we get into like some high level conversation.
They went to the same high school in St. Louis.
I picked that up.
Yeah.
What is a billiken?
Do you want to take this one, Dave? Or?
I'm going to let you because I think you're more confident in the answer than I am.
I don't know that I'm more confident in the answer.
It's like a gargoyle.
It does kind of look like a gargoyle, but like a friendly one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So a mythical beast.
It's a
Mythical is a
mythical
good word,
creature.
yeah.
Its derivation is Japanese, but that's the extent of like what I know.
It's more than I knew.
I feel like that's perfect for
What was that word
you
you
know.
dropped?
Derivation.
How about that?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said.
Well,
Junior Billiken.
Flew high. I figured.
Earning them $5 words. There you go.
yeah, Connor can make some pretty good word salads.
That's right. Yeah. Well, parking's taught me a lot. You have to get creative on the phone.
Yes, yeah, which we will get to.
Can't wait.
Just one of the many facets of
Are you
your
going to
job
make
and
him
what
go
you do
through the
here.
whole explanation?
Oh, let's do it.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. Absolutely not. I think he could do it in his sleep, though.
He's told me he does,
I do
which
backwards,
frightens me.
Yeah, I do it in the car. Yeah.
Oh man. But yes, as you alluded to, Connor and I are good friends, and I may or may not have reached out to Devin and Bob Jordan, your brother and father, for a couple of fun anecdotes.
Yeah.
Definitely some photography gems
Oh,
that we will share here in a little bit. But yeah, what we do on here, we just kind of tell your story, especially like your Mizzou story, which I feel like is the majority of your story.
It is.
Lifelong Mizzou fan, born and bred, bleed black and gold. But yeah, tell us a little bit about how Mizzou started for you in your life.
Yeah. So I'm second gen. So my dad was a 1978 Mizzou alum, and from when I was born, really, we were just always big sports fans. It started with the St. Louis Cardinals and going to games at Busch Stadium 2 and watching baseball, but very quickly I took to Mizzou from there, and both basketball, men's basketball and football. And so it was something that my dad and I just bonded over when I was a kid. Watching football games, it's kind of crazy that we have as much opportunity to talk to Chris Trevino and Mike Kelly as we do. Because I know that they're just normal guys, but like to me, those are celebrities. And I was just talking to Chris this weekend, and I hated to make him feel old, but I was like, Chris, I remember so clearly listening to you guys on the radio driving to or from my soccer games in the fall as a kid. So that's just where it took off. Like my dad was an alum. We were both Mizzou fans, and something snapped in me, and I just became obsessed from like the day I knew what Mizzou was.
Yeah. And so was it always Mizzou? Was that always the goal? I'm going to go to Mizzou. I'm going to get my degree at Mizzou.
If you would have asked me if I was sitting here when I was 10 years old, I would have been like, yep, I'm going to go to Mizzou. At that time, interestingly enough, I would have told you I wanted to get into print journalism. That's what I wanted to be.
Good
I wanted
call.
to do what Dave did. I wanted to be a beat writer for Mizzou football, whether it was in St. Louis or wherever. Like
He also looked up to you when he was a child.
I did. I've told Dave that. But I will like it was cool being like a SLU High kid, and like there's a SLU High guy that's from St. Louis that went to Mizzou that covered us on the beat. Like I always thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
But it was always
Used
Mizzou.
to look up to you.
Then I quit.
Well, look, then we started working together. That went downhill really quick. But no, I mean, by the time that I was applying for colleges, I literally only applied here. Like, there was nowhere else that I cared to even consider. It was always Mizzou.
I was going to ask, like, what that experience was like for you in high school deciding to come here, because I kind of got the vibe. In my time, it kind of depended on which counselor you had.
Yep.
Some were like, there's more prestigious schools you can go to all around the country. And then the one I had, fortunately, was like, you want to do journalism and you're from the state of Missouri, there's really only one place you need to go to. So I was a very late decider. I didn't decide till midway through my senior year, I think, that I was coming here. Otherwise, I didn't really grow up wanting to come here. I wanted to branch out.
Where would you have gone?
A couple Big Ten schools I applied to and got into, but, I'm very glad
Yeah.
I followed the path I followed. But
Yeah.
was that so? But you were different. You were
Well, yes and
all
no.
on board?
Like we can, crack jokes about SLU High all day, but they certainly do try to become like they want to be a factory for putting St. Louis kids into like big time schools,
Sure.
Ivy League schools, or certainly like the Catholic school continuation is something that they want to push for a little bit. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. Like if SLU is putting 3 kids in Harvard every year, they get to put that on their enrollment or their materials and stuff. But no, I remember very distinctly actually with my counselor sitting down in my junior year, and he was asking, what are you interested in and what do you want to study? At that time I was still saying journalism. I remember very distinctly, I told him I want to go to a state school, a big school where sports really matter. That needs to be a part of my college experience. And he had me look at, I think, UConn and LSU. I probably got like as far as their admissions websites before I was like, no. But I remember he was like, Connor, I don't want you to just be so dead set on Mizzou. You can broaden your horizons and whatever. And I just kind of like played along to get out of the room.
Yeah.
We then sat again with our advisors at the beginning of our senior year. And I think by this point, he was probably so tired of these kids that just couldn't like whittle their list down to like 3 schools.
Yeah.
I sat down with him again. He was like, where are you going to school? I said, Mizzou. He goes, great. Do you need help with the paperwork? I said, no. He said, great. And we were done. So he tried to get me to branch out, but something changed. And Mr. Dolan was done with that. And he just sent me off to Mizzou, and here I am.
And so you got your undergrad and your MBA here. What was your undergrad in?
Both my undergrad and my master's are both in accountancy.
Okay. And so when did that switch go from journalism to accountancy?
Probably
they're not normally like side-by-side comparisons. So.
Interestingly enough, so one of my best friend, Brian, is like one of the best writers I've ever known. And he was the sports editor for the Prep News, which is the newspaper that they do at SLU, and they actually send it to print on real newspaper. It comes out every Friday. It's a big deal. And I remember looking at Brian and being like, man, this guy is like leaps and bounds such a more talented writer and storyteller than I am, that like maybe my pathway in life is going to look differently. And I didn't feel like there wasn't this competitive thing to it, but I was like, that seems like that's his thing. Like that's where he's meant to be. Maybe not necessarily writing for sports, but writing in some capacity or another. And he was just so strong at that I was like, I would read what he wrote and just think like I could like try and practice as long as I wanted to. I'm not going to get to this level. So I knew I was going to study business just because, to be honest, that just seemed like a logical thing to come in and study. I've always been good with numbers. And I picked the accounting program once I got into the business school because they were like, well, this is the hardest one to get into. I was like, cool, I'm competitive. Let's do it. And both my parents are accountants, both CPAs. So that was just like, okay, well, they'll be able to push me through it. Like, let's do accounting. That was as much thought as went into it, to be honest with you.
Wow. So then what era of Mizzou athletics are we talking about during your undergrad years?
Yes, let's age Connor right here.
So during
We're older, it's fine.
there are phases, right? Like my most formative Mizzou time might be different than like when I was in school. But I was here from 2013 through 2018. The accounting program had a master's year, so I was here for 5 years, which was great. So my freshman year started with us winning the East in 2013.
Not bad.
Which, I mean, what more could you ask for a kid that only applied here, only wanted to go here? I mean, it was a dream come true. It was unbelievable. Having just joined the SEC too, in year one, we kind of had some injuries and stumbled. So like we were announcing ourselves on the conference stage, which was awesome. And then my grad year, my 5th year, was Konzo's first year as the coach for basketball, which unfortunately MPJ ended up getting hurt and didn't get to play a lot that year, but that brought like such an energy. We sold out season tickets for Mizzou Arena.
Yeah.
So that brought, and there was a good team still. We went to the tournament. So
Right.
I feel like I really bookended with some really exciting times in the 2 major sports, but really my time here from a sports perspective was defined by back-to-back SEC East championships, without a doubt.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Well, so you graduate, you get a job as a CPA working for KPMG. Did you go to Chicago immediately?
No, I started my career at KPMG in tax in St. Louis. I had interned there in between my senior year and my master's year. And like the big 4 firms, all they want to do is get you in for an internship and then hire you off of that and keep you full time. And they'll weed people out. They're fine with it. So yeah, I started with KPMG in St. Louis directly out of college. I ended up then moving to Chicago after 3 years with KPMG and went to a smaller firm where I was working fully remote. And so that was really 4 years in the accounting industry. Got my CPA, did the whole thing, and decided to make a little change.
At what point were you like, man, every day is an adventure. This is exciting. I'm thrilled beyond my wildest dreams to be doing taxes.
Well, that's an excellent
And said,
question.
you know what? I think I'm going to step out
Yeah.
and try something new.
So here's what I'm going to lead with is that it's a really difficult job, a hard industry, and I have a lot of respect for people that stick with it. My dad especially, he retired 2 years ago, and he was doing personal tax for 40 plus years. There's 2 busy seasons every year. And this guy would just work his butt off all the time. And my mom too, she works in a different kind of tax, but I was doing a lot of very similar to work to what my dad was doing at the time. For me, to be completely honest with you, I remember very vividly sitting at my graduation in Mizzou Arena, sweating through my suit because I was so hungover, And thinking like while we're about to go get our degrees, I was like, oh no, like I actually have to go do this now. Like I was so focused at that phase of my life with, I always wanted to go to Mizzou, and I did really well here I made wonderful friends and just enjoyed my time so much that I really wasn't thinking a lot about like, well, in 4 or 5 years, you're going to have to go work a job. Like I remember that day being like, oh no, you know?
Oh man. And you maximized your time when you were here at Mizzou. You were a Fiji.
I was a Fiji.
You were a campus tour guide. You were on homecoming steer committee. As like the guy that I probably was making fun of to all of my athlete friends.
100% yes.
Yes.
And the reason I say that,
nice. Really?
What?
That's not nice.
He's my friend. I can say that.
Okay.
as well as a former member of the Mizzou involvement crowd, as we called them, they're an easy group to pick on because they can think a lot of themselves. And my other best friend, the one that I made in college, Justin, he and I got really close while we were in school because we really genuinely, we just wanted to give tours and like show people how much we love the place and didn't want to take everything so seriously. So we tried to kind of cut through some of that, but yeah, I mean, some of the community is like, oh, we're very important. Okay.
We called them face guys. You're a face
guy.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
And he became a face guy now. So yeah, so tell us about that transition. So you're working remotely in Chicago, doing taxes. Were you always kind of on the lookout for jobs?
I was.
Like in general, or was it just Mizzou?
Yes and no. I had moved to Chicago at that point. This is summer of 2021 when I moved up to Chicago. I was only there for 10 months. That coincided exactly with my transition to the firm I was working at the time. They were fully remote. They were actually based in California, interestingly enough. I did not fly out to California even one time. I never went and like visited the firm. I started remote and never met anybody in person, which was indicative of like how far one of my feet was out of the door in the industry. But it was a smaller firm. The pay was better. The work-life balance was better. I was like, if I'm going to stick with accounting, let's try a smaller firm and let's see if it works. Same deal. I was like 3 weeks in, I was like, no, this ain't going to work. So then I was in Chicago, but I was at that point obsessively researching Mizzou Athletics jobs postings specifically. Not just Mizzou in general. No disrespect. I love Mizzou as a campus and our whole community. But what I wanted to do was come down and work in athletics. So I think I applied to 8 different jobs over 6 months.
Wow.
And I was just, I mean, everything I could. I was dead set, like, I'm going to get my foot in the door. Somebody's going to call me. And by the time I get a phone call, I'll be able to talk them into it. Wow. That was the whole idea.
So where'd the connection happen?
So the first 5 applications, and to be clear, like at one point I applied for a football operations position, the level to which I would have been hilariously underqualified for that. I now understand.
Shoot your shot.
But exactly, that was my mentality at the time was, okay, maybe not this position, but they're going to be like, somebody's got to call this guy and at least get him committed, maybe.
And now you know we don't all talk to each other about
Right,
that stuff,
exactly. So no, mostly I knew I wanted to get into development, which is what I do now, working in our fundraising operation. I thought that's a really awesome way to share the message of Mizzou, right? You're out pounding the pavement, talking to people about what we're doing, and also bringing in money and supporting what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So I kind of thought, man, that's the right zone for me. But I wasn't hearing anything. I was sending emails. I was just trying to get in touch. Hey, what are you not seeing that you wish you could see? How am I not differentiating myself? Do I need to let this dream go even? Does somebody just want to cut the cord right now? But I wasn't getting that. And then we posted a position that was fundraising full-time in St. Louis. And what I told a buddy of mine at the time was, after reading the job description, if you had like a group of researchers study me and produce a job that was made for me, living in St. Louis, working in St. Louis, representing Mizzou Athletics, I was like, somebody made that job for me to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so much of my identity is Mizzou and St. Louis. And I was like, that's the one. And I even resigned to the concept that if that doesn't work out, then maybe that's your sign. Look, it's a dream, but not everybody gets to go do their dream.
Right. Yeah.
As luck would have it, I got a call. We did a phone screen, and then they brought me down on campus, and they brought me on. And that was that.
I was in that interview.
Were you?
I don't think I have ever said an interview with somebody as excited to be here as Connor.
Oh, I was pretty fired up.
Yeah.
I was pretty fired up.
Yep.
So was that like spring of 22?
Spring of 22, about a month after we brought Coach Gates in. I know that because I rewrote my cover letter and quoted him directly in the cover letter.
Yes, you did.
What?
Quoted him directly. The end of my cover letter, I think verbatim, was Dennis Gates said in his introductory press conference that we will cut down nets, lift trophies, and hang banners. And then I said, while I understand, some along the lines like, while I understand I don't have the most direct influence on that, I will do literally everything I can to help us make that a reality. And I do mean that. But I was in a pretty intense phase at that point.
We also found out that he was able to readily anticipate unexpected change.
I figured that was coming. Yeah.
That was one of his skills.
One of my
on his
core
resume.
competencies was to readily anticipate the unexpected challenge, which in retrospect was just word garbage.
Pretty good for
It
college
is.
athletics.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this day and age especially.
I'm gonna spoiler alert. I don't know that he has been able to readily anticipate all of the unexpected
Not all of them, man.
challenges.
These challenges got hands. There's a lot more of them than you think there would be.
As long as you're readily.
That's
good.
right.
That's all that matters.
That's right.
I guess I met you at were you at one of those early, what do we call it?
Caravan tours.
Caravan tours.
Yeah.
I don't know what the branding was at that time. Probably right after you. Were you on that first one in St. Louis?
Yep.
At
Your
Ballpark
first
Village.
No, your first one was in Chicago.
Well, yeah.
but-
Interestingly,
Ballpark Village. Were you at that one?
I was there. Yep.
Yeah.
Right when Gates got hired, Coach Gates got hired. I remember meeting you, and you introduced yourself as a SLU guy, and I was like, all right, here we go. Okay.
Slew guy, crazy person, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remembered
he's-
your name because my son's Connor, so it's like I
Great
will
name.
never forget.
Yep. He started just a couple months after I did.
Yeah,
Actually.
almost same time.
So in St. Louis, that only lasted a year,
About 18 months.
year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
I
were still in St. Louis when I got here.
I was.
Yeah.
I was. And we've backfilled that position with a gentleman named Chris Roseman who knows the market really well, is a really, really excellent guy. He worked with the St. Louis Sports Commission for a long time. So I remember telling our bosses here when he took over, like, hey, Chris is going to be better for this than I ever would have been, just based off of the time he spent in the market and the connections and
His
things
network,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you moved from St. Louis to here and you're in the office every day, did that was it any more thrilling, or was it more like, okay, this is just an office job now? did the thrill get diluted at all?
No more midday workouts.
Right. Yeah, a little bit less schedule flexibility for sure.
Yeah.
No, the luster for me of having the opportunity to do what we do never really wears off, but it manifests itself for me like when we're about to kick off against KU and all our fans are losing their minds and like I'm getting the chills then.
Yeah.
By that point for me, walking into the office was really walking into the office.
Yeah.
The mission is different than it would have been in public accounting, but at that point it was a job. But from like a culture perspective and building connections with my colleagues and building my own career, leaps and bounds better for me to be in Columbia on the day-to-day than St. Louis.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Connor used to be like a celebrity every time he came in. I see those reels now, and I think of you every time. And I see those reels that are like when the remote employee shows up in the office.
Everyone's like, "Oh,
Oh my
whoa!"
gosh, hey,
Yeah,
how
just
are
sneaking up on
you?
people all the time.
Yeah, that used to be the joke because I was like, Connor Jordan. Oh my gosh, it's been forever. Even got him a birthday cake that said that and had it delivered.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Wow, all these things I'm learning.
Yeah. Yes. There's plenty. Okay. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
Hit me.
Okay. So you are now the assistant athletic director for revenue generation. That means nothing to our millions of listeners.
Right.
Well, don't say that. It should.
No, I mean, like, they don't know what that means.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it actually affects all of them. I know it would be easier to say what you don't do, but can you give us a 30,000 feet, like what you do in the office?
Yeah, of course. So I still fundraise. I still manage a portfolio, and we'll go hit the road and talk to people about the Memorial Stadium Centennial Project or joining the Mizzou Leadership Circle, things like that. But, we have some really, really great DOs on our staff, development officers on our staff that are going to go out and are going to hustle and are going to do that. So we need to be really, really solid back at home and make sure everything in our system, in our database, all of our materials, everything is in a really good spot. So there are a couple of us that are a little bit more internal within the Mizzou Athletics Fund in nature. So I really manage the financial side of the Mizzou Athletics Fund, so I help to manage our, anything with a dollar sign in front of it is a lot of times what I say, and then heading up special revenue projects. So last year when we split out from the Tiger Scholarship Fund, rebranded, made some policy changes, things like that, I was a big part of that analysis group. This year we redesigned our football parking system. I'm very proud of that because that was really my main charge with a lot of support. So I really don't want to convey like that was my whole thing, partially for my own safety. But no, truthfully, I believe it's a great system that's going to work really well for us. But that was really my main charge for the last 6 months. So in this day and age, with having to fill up the pot on rev share, having to keep up with the Joneses in our conference, a huge piece of what we need to be doing at all times is evaluating where can we drive more revenue, and can we do that without making incredible pricing increases across the board for every average fan, right? How can we protect an entry price because we have so many young families in Columbia that just want to come and sit on the hill at a football game, versus how can we reach with 7, I think, Fortune 500 companies in Missouri, how can we also reach there and get them to support us at a high level? So revenue strategies, things like parking in our day-to-day, as well as larger scale projects, how can we be reaching people and raising more money is really my main charge.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I got a little long-winded there.
I'm saying there's a lot on your plate.
I'm sitting here thinking like you probably left some stuff out.
Oh, I did, but
and with your accountancy background, it just seems like a natural fit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like for what you do. How do you feel, beyond the obvious, how do you feel that prepared you for what you are doing now?
Oh, I mean, I think all the time. I think of my time at SLU High, even as how formative that was, through then my time in college and certainly and mostly really my time in public accounting, where that put me from the perspective of your time management and understanding the times when you're going to be busy and what a work-life balance can mean when you're in a high-stress job. When you were in public accounting and you're in tax, you do 2 busy seasons a year. My first busy season, which was leading up to the October 15th deadline, we were hammering out 90-hour billable weeks for like 6 straight weeks leading up to the deadline. And what I learned in pursuit of that is the hours and the time really didn't bother me. It's that I don't care about what we're doing. That was the problem. And now, mind you, at 90 hours, any job isn't fun anymore.
Right.
I love this job. I love it. But then I'm not saying I'm cranking 90 hours out every week. I'm not implying that at all. But it taught me a lot about the value of like working hard and being willing to really devote yourself to something as long as you believe in the mission, right? That was the whole thing for me. I wanted to get out of public accounting not because of the hours. I wanted to get out because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where are we going next? I didn't bring my reader, so I can't read it. Any of the script that you want today.
You are so old.
I'm feeling old.
So I actually want to take a fun little turn and share a couple of anecdotes.
Can we dive into parking?
Oh, is that exciting for people? Should we?
I do think it's important.
No, I do. I'm just kidding.
And I'm going to, as an example of like Connor's leadership that he's taking on this task that doesn't sound very fun, but it's a major endeavor.
And I do feel like you downplayed a little bit when you said it's been your job for the last 6 months. I'm pretty sure it's been what you've been working on for the last 2 years.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just really quick, like, what's the why behind why we are doing what we're doing and the approach we've taken that under your, leadership here?
Sure. So the easiest why, the most obvious why is building the Memorial Stadium Centennial Project, right? We have 3,000 new seats in there almost. A lot of them are premium seating aligned with parking included. So we've got probably 400 to 500 parking spots to fill next year that we've never had to fulfill before. So that's a really easy, okay, we at least need to be talking about this. Going steps further, we really just came to outgrow our parking system as it was.
Yeah.
That comes on a lot of fronts, right? We have challenged our people and they've answered the bell because our fans are fantastic. We've challenged people on pricing now in 2 years. We've made some pricing increases that have brought us back to the level we need to be. But that had some impact on the way our parking was structured, how people are qualifying for their parking and things like that. There just wasn't any clarity. It was all very complex. How do I qualify for this and that? How do I know what to expect? And we weren't able to tell people until the back end in a lot of cases that they weren't able to get the parking that they wanted. Yeah. And what's truly really important to me that I try to keep in view the whole time I'm doing this, do we want to drive revenue and make money off of this? Absolutely we do. Yeah. But what do we really want to do? We want you to safeguard and protect your game day experience because that's what brings you back.
Yeah.
Like if you are a person that's able to contribute millions upon millions of dollars, that's amazing and we love that and we appreciate you so much. But if what you can do is get your season tickets, park your car in lot M, host an awesome tailgate with your friends and walk into the game, we really appreciate you too, and we understand how important every piece of that is.
Yeah.
Where you sit, where you park, where that spot is, how you can count on being there year over year. So being able to build that in while also finding a way to generate potentially more revenue, that was the name of the game. Yeah. That's why we came to the table.
Yeah. It's really interesting when you think about it. There's 365 days in a year, and we're talking about 7 days a year.
I know.
And we're talking about what spot you put, what 2 lines you put your car between.
Yeah.
But it is so important to what we do.
Oh, yeah.
And critical for, and like you said, it's not just about revenue. It's not just about organization around the stadium, but it's about that fan experience because so much comes from why fans want to be here. Obviously, they want to be here for the football and all of that, but it's more than that. It's about the whole day, and that parking spot is so crucial to all of that experience.
And you have to have both of those in mind at any time when you're thinking about something like parking.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to make money, obviously, but we also have to protect what has become a really important life experience. I mean, the reason I work here is because my memories of coming to games as a kid. So safeguarding that and protecting that's a really important charge for us.
Oh yeah, tailgates with my uncle.
Yeah.
Growing up, he went from lot M to lot W, and they were both amazing. But it's you remember that growing up. Like we came in from Kansas City with some Gates barbecue. He'd bring Ted Drews from St. Louis, and just like sitting out in the parking lot in the back of his Explorer, like back popped up, just hanging out, and that wouldn't have felt the same. You're right. Like if we were anywhere else at any other school where you can't tailgate right around the stadium and you can't have that access. I mean, this new process that you have come up with, I like that it's dynamic. It's going to grow with us a lot better than the one we used to because it doesn't rely as heavily on the numbers, like you said. It's more, it's different levels and tiers. And can you explain that part just a little bit?
Sure.
Obviously, you don't have to go in depth, but just kind of how we've changed that.
Yeah, so really simply, and I'll pick on Lot M right out here. M is in man because we're right here in the Hearn Center. So Lot M in years past, you had to contribute $1,000 to some of these funds, but not other funds. It had to be specific where it was. And as long as you contributed that, you qualified to be able to request, but the request wasn't necessarily a guarantee. So maybe because of where everybody else requested, because of points, you got bumped out. You didn't find out until the very last minute, all these kinds of things, right? That was a real challenge. And you were submitting a parking request in the beginning of May. We were telling you at the beginning of August with 3 weeks before football season, hey, you're not going to be where you wanted to be. That wasn't good for the customer. It wasn't good for us.
No.
So now everything is based off of where we project market demand is going to fall for these specific lots. So as opposed to having a set lot threshold that you have to qualify for, we modeled out where we think the last person in every lot that's going to qualify for it is going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to show that to you, and then you're going to have every opportunity to be able to make contributions. There's a runway with the Mizzou Leadership Circle to build guarantees into your parking that we just have not been able to offer before.
Right.
And that adds a huge dynamic for us from a fundraising side of things, but certainly for our fan base to know what to expect out of their football season. We want them to be able to plan.
And it'll be a live selection process now.
It'll be live selection. It'll happen on Ticketmaster. It'll happen live online on Ticketmaster in July. And yeah, it's
Don't mind the man just sticking the microphone in your face.
it's gonna instead of being
Quality control.
what we used to call the parking team, which I'm now willing to come out and say was just Connor Jordan.
It was.
For the allocation process.
The face is visible now too, so everybody can see this and know who to be upset with. Right?
That's perfect. That's good. That's good.
Or who to thank.
I'm not implying
who to thank.
I'm not
You've done a great
implying
job.
at all that we didn't have a bunch of people while we were restructuring that it was just me, but when it was doing the allocation itself, you couldn't have more than one cook in the kitchen.
No.
It was built out of Excel, which I am an accountant. I'm good at Excel, so don't worry, it was right. I'm not saying it wasn't. But because that took so much time, you weren't finding out, and it was just a mystery, whereas to Loretta's point, yeah, it's going to be on Ticketmaster. You're going to get a time slot to go online and pick. You're going to see everything that's available to you. You're going to put it in your cart, and you're going to check out, and you're done.
Yeah.
Right, as opposed to maybe filling out a paper request or doing it online, all these different areas and sources. It was just, we're too fractured.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that we can stop talking about parking in a minute.
No,
but-
you're fine. I was joking.
No, but it's not a parking podcast. But when Connor's on, I
It
guess
can be
is.
for me. Man, I can talk. If you guys want to talk about it until the weekend, I can.
But the fact that we're bringing clarity to it is,
Yeah.
I think, the number one thing, because I was on this is going to sound like a humble brag. I was on a panel the other day talking to a tourism group, a local tourism group, and one thing, yeah.
Were you wearing your satchel?
I was not wearing my satchel or my cotton ball ring, but I knew as soon as I had that thought in my head. But we can't control what the players do down on the field. We can't control the outcome of the game, but we can control or at least influence the experience our fans have, and we're throwing a party for 65,000 people. There's going to be some inconveniences along the way. I think our goal should be like the positives of their experience has to outweigh the inconveniences that they may have. And I think what you're doing with parking is in the big positive chunk there, because we're trying to make it bring clarity to it as much as possible while bringing in some revenue. And
we're going to want as much feedback as the fans are willing and able to give us. Like, tell us what's not working. Tell us how we can make it better and how we can approach it. This is year one of a new system. We've thought a lot about it. We've planned a lot, and it's going to go really well. But we need the feedback to be hearing what the experience is going to look like.
Right.
Keep us honest.
You said it on one of the town halls. Was that we've grown so much. This is a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's why I always call it the good problem to have.
Yeah.
Right. Because why was parking not changed 6 years ago? Well, we weren't selling out the stadium.
Right.
And we weren't generating the revenue, the interest, the demand that we are right now.
Right.
And I think every one of our fans, I would hope to a man, would say, you know what? If it means the stadium's sold out, I don't need that second pass in lot P.
Yeah.
If it means more fans are coming through the turnstiles, if it means we're going to have a better game day environment, that's all that matters.
Do you really have dreams about our parking?
I swear to God, I do.
That is frightening.
Yep. They range in like variability, right? Sometimes I'll just dream up like Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. Other times I'll dream like a nightmare scenario where everybody in Founders is parked in the wrong spot and nobody's there but me. So yeah, I mean, the good news is, Dave, it hasn't taken over my life.
Just your dreams.
Your dreams.
It's just my subconscious.
Every thought you have.
My conscious is only like 60% of the time. Subconscious, 90 to 100.
Wow. It's amazing.
All right.
What do you got?
I want to share this story.
Okay, you go to your story time. Storyteller.
Just because I have this,
my heart rate
photos
just
to go
went
with
up.
it. What?
Nothing going.
Okay. So
You
I guess-
brought photos?
Yeah, I did. Like I said,
am
I
I
reached
getting a
out.
call right now?
Like I said, I reached out to Connor's brother, Devin, who is an amazing human being. And it was really cute. I guess I should share this on He'll listen at some point, right? When I asked him for some help, and he messaged me back and said, hey, I called an audible and punted it to my dad, and then in parentheses said, I don't even know if that's the right phrase. I'm not a sports guy.
He's decidedly not a sports guy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to share a quick story on him that provides evidence of that. Devin has been, my older brother Devin is like my favorite person in the world, and we're really, really close. I'm very fortunate to have him. We couldn't have more diametrically opposed interests. And I got enough sports for both of us, and he got enough for like -5 people. So we were going to Bragging Rights in St. Louis, Mizzou in Illinois, an event he has been to no fewer than 15 to 20 times. This is like 2 or 3 years ago, and he asked if there was going to be a coat check at the basketball theater. So, not really his thing, sports.
Don't you have to bribe him that if he goes to the game with you, that you'll go to a musical or see a movie with him?
I have bribed him to attend, which unfortunately ended up being the snow game against Arkansas.
Oh, gosh.
Because by that morning, I actually felt so bad about the deal we cut. I was like, Devin, don't come. We'll figure something else out. I had to go see the movie Wicked with him. He loves Wicked. So I had to go see that. I had to agree to go to that before he would come to the Arkansas game. I was like, dude, don't get in the car. This is not going to be fun. You're going to spend 4 hours on Highway 70. He's like, thanks, man. We've been in the car for 20 minutes. They weren't even on Highway 70 yet, and he was on the way. So, yeah.
All right. So he punted the task to your dad, who Bob Jordan came through nice
Love
and strong.
that.
Okay. So we've talked about Connor being a lifelong fan, right? October 23rd, 2010. 18th ranked Missouri hosts number 3 Oklahoma. Do you remember this vividly?
I remember it vividly, yeah.
Okay, so Connor was 15. They went to the game with Bob and one of his college friends.
Can I make one note really quick? Do you
yeah.
mind? On BCS rankings, OU was number 1 at the time.
They were, yeah.
Okay. I'm
We
reading
caught a
what
lot
your
of
dad
grief
shared
in the
with me.
media at the time because we had to go with AP and it wasn't number 1. It was
I just for my money, we beat the number 1 team in the country.
And I
wanna
do feel bad. I
make
am
that
paraphrasing your dad's story. He wrote it very eloquently.
Get it right, Dad.
Yeah, he
Love you.
talked about it in the waning seconds of Mizzou's upset. You told your dad that you were going to rush the field. He said, "No, you're not." And then when time expired, a lot of celebrating and high-fiving taking place, and the ensuing chaos Connor was gone. The next time he saw you was in this photo. Please share that on the camera.
Oh, did he put the arrow on
Yes,
this,
he
or
did.
you?
No, he did.
Yeah.
Well, you got to hold it up. Can you see it, Steve?
Put it up there a little longer. Yeah, big time.
So then your dad had no choice but to go down to the field now to try and find you.
Yeah. It was such a chore for him to rush the field with us after.
Right. But when he finally caught up with you, you were, quote, beaming and holding the glove of
Alden Smith.
Alden
Oh,
Smith.
wow.
It's in my office right
you
now.
requested, and he gave it to you as a souvenir, as seen in picture 2.
I love how he didn't paint the words too on this one. Can you see that, Steve?
That's awesome.
Players Club.
Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations
Grow your
has
hair
passed
out,
on the trespassing charge that day, so we're just gonna let that one slide.
Yeah.
The other one that was amazing that he shared, which and he even admitted, he's like, I'm sure you've heard this story plenty, was they went to a football game and they began talking to this lady in front of them, and it turned out it was Jeremy Macklin's landlady. And so,
And Sean Weatherspoon's.
yeah, and your dad said, under the guise of
When
purchasing...
they were players?
While they were players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they lived in her
Landlady,
townhouse.
okay.
What did you think I said?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So he said under the guise of purchasing her tickets if she couldn't go to the game sometime, he got her phone number and then reached out to her, asked if he sent her an autographed football to be signed, could she have Jeremy sign it? She said, sure. Sent her the football. Unbeknownst to him, Jeremy took the football into the locker room and had the entire team sign it.
Wow.
That is also displayed in his office.
Yeah.
So.
Can I add something on that story?
Please do.
So, actually, honestly, on both of these, but on that one specifically, I was not, depending upon your interest in the game happening in front of you, I maybe was not fun to sit in front of at a sporting event when I was a kid, because I would not shut up about the team, the players, the stats, everything, right? And this must have been 07 or 08. So I mean, right in the peak of the Daniel and Macklin, and I mean, I can name the whole roster if you want, but those years. And we went to a game. I honestly, for the life of me on that one, I can't remember which one it was. But we were sitting behind this lady, and I wouldn't shut up about Jeremy Macklin. And her ears perked up. She turned around. She was like, "Oh, do you like Jeremy Macklin?" I was like, "Yeah, lady, I like Jeremy Macklin." I was probably nicer. I was probably nicer than that. She was like, "Oh, that's amazing. Well, him and Sean Weatherspoon live in the condo that we own. If you want to go get some at the team store, we could definitely get them to sign something for you." And I mean, I turned immediately, my eyes lock on my dad. I was like, "Hey, buddy, we're going to the team store right now. And so he immediately, the man he always is thinking ahead like this. He must have had the idea right away that he wanted to do this for a Christmas present, because immediately he's like, Connor, she's just being nice. She's just trying to be polite.
Yeah.
She doesn't mean that. I was like, well, let's take advantage of the politeness,
Let's
man.
just see, yeah.
How, like, because football's going to be like $30. Take it out of my allowance. Like, let's go. So he must have waited until I went down to, like, use the restroom or get something to eat or whatever and exchange information with this lady. I didn't talk to him the whole way down Highway 70 on the way home. I'm sitting there stewing. I'm like, I can't believe I was going to get Jeremy Macklin's autograph and you didn't let me. I'm furious. And I'm assuming the whole time he's just eating it up like, oh, this is going to be great. It was the best present I've ever gotten. I mean, opening that up on Christmas Day, Chase Daniel signed it right under the Tiger Head logo. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. I haven't heard that story. I've seen the football, but
So I
Super
ever
meaningful.
if compliance is listening, I don't think we violated any kind of NCAA.
No.
I'm just kidding.
especially not at that time. No, so I've made it my goal now ever since I started working with Connor and we became friends when I started, enjoying his company.
Thank you.
I do everything I can to connect him with the alumni that I know that he will appreciate. Especially ever since I found out, please share your childhood pets' names.
Yeah. So we have a cat, an orange tabby cat that's still with us. His name is Chase. We did name him after Chase Daniel, which was so much less weird before I was 30 and Chase was 38 and I had to talk to him.
I FaceTimed him when he came in to visit one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, would you say hi to my friend Connor? He's like, yeah, sure. So I FaceTimed Connor. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, nothing. And this is when he was still in St. Louis. And I was like, hey, I got somebody here who wants to say hi.
Yeah, no, I remember that too, because the day that Chase was coming in, he was still in the league, and so he hadn't been back like substantively in a while, and he was going to spend time with you, and I was still working in St. Louis at the time, And I think what I offered you specifically was I would babysit your triplets 3 times total.
Yeah.
If you FaceTime me in with Chase Daniel. And this was like in the morning. I don't know what happened that day, but I kind of had like a crappy day or whatever and kind of forgot about it. And I was out in the backyard with like taking my dog at like 3 o'clock. And I get a FaceTime from Loretta Jones. And I'd forgotten about it. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, this is going to be Chase Daniel. But I had told her very specifically, when you talk to him, don't tell him about the cat.
One of the first things I told him.
Don't tell him about the cat. He's gonna think I'm gonna try to kill him. So I pick up this FaceTime from, my hero. And Loretta's like, here, this is Chase. And Chase goes, Connor, tell me about this cat. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, when I was 12 and named the cat, it was cute and sweet. Now I'm 30, everyone's like, that's kind of weird.
Actually, it's Chase Kaufman he's named after.
Yeah, who is also an amazing guy.
Which I also got a jersey signed.
Yes, I do. I mean, Loretta has like.
Oh, geez, there was that LSU game that you couldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was giving him trouble, and that was
that.
Well, that game was crazy for me. That was when we were doing the 1996 Big 8 baseball ring thing, and it was also Jeremy Macklin's on field.
Oh yeah, you had a wedding or something that day?
Yeah, my friend Brian that I mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention him again. Thank you, Brian, for making.
It's the only home game we lost over a 2-year span.
That's
so
right. That's right, Brian and
maybe
Bridget.
there's a trend
he's
here.
not really a friend, I guess. And I recorded.
I was the best man in that wedding.
There were like 3 guys. It was like Chase Kaufman. I can't remember who else. I had like 3 or 4 guys get together, and I was like, guys, my friend Connor couldn't be here, and I'm giving him a lot of trouble for being at a wedding.
Yeah.
So I recorded them saying that they missed him, and they wish that he was there.
And they're like, "Oh, what is he, 9?" And you're like,
Yeah.
30.
Well, then for your 30th, I
Yeah,
had them,
yeah.
we were at Coach Pinkle's GP made reception, and
yeah,
I had
separate
some of the
events.
guys sing. I had Spoon and J-Mac and Rut and Denario and a couple other guys sing Happy Birthday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just my buddies now.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
your
cool
buddies.
guys.
But yeah, so we have Chase, who is still with us. He's a 20-year-old tabby cat. He's a sweet little guy. And then our yellow lab Striker, we named after Striker Shulock.
Wow.
Off of one play.
Nice pull.
Off of the safety where him and Ziggy Hood got into
Yeah.
the backfield. Striker Shulock's the one that set the edge and got towards Todd Reesing first, so we named him.
You know what's
after him.
weird? My
Yeah.
parents had a cat named Ziggy,
Really?
named after Ziggy Hood.
No way.
How weird is that?
That is
I just
weird.
thought of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
St.
you're
Louis
back
thing.
to you.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
So yeah, we capped it at 2 Mizzou dignitaries that I named a pet after, because then I started meeting them and it can be
got
weird.
weird.
So then I transitioned to movie characters from there because I thought that'd be safer.
Yes. Now you have
Indy.
Indy.
Named after
Were you there
Indiana
the day
Jones.
that Chase Daniel came in the office? Was it last year?
I sure was, Dave.
And well, I know you were. That was more rhetorical.
Oh, you mean April 29th? No, actually, I don't know the date.
And
it was homecoming.
but he
Was
came
it? Oh,
over
yeah, it
to
was, it was.
he came over to Brock Webb's cubicle, also super fan, former one-time co-host of Mizzou Storytellers, and he had the Chase Sports Illustrated cover on his cubicle, and he was a little embarrassed because Chase walked in and like, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that story is not that great, but it was you had to be there.
What I'll tell you about myself and the other crazy person over in Missouri, Brock Webb, is that, 15, 17 years before we ever met each other on the same Halloween in 2008, we both dressed up as Chase Daniel. So,
Oh my gosh.
Loretta didn't get that one, did she?
You showed that
Oh, you're going to
picture.
pull it out, aren't you?
You should, I actually do have a
Yeah.
picture. I should pull it. I'll show it to you afterwards. Your dad sent me some gems.
Oh, I'll bet he did.
Yeah, he did. I'm not going to share them all. I obviously shared those two. All right. You want a rapid fire?
Yes, I can read these.
You
Okay,
can?
what are we doing? Odds or evens?
I want evens.
Okay.
All right. What is the best meal in Columbia?
So timing is a factor here, because I would eat something different in the winter at this establishment than I would in the summer.
Okay.
So
can say both.
Like bulking season versus
No.
swimsuit season?
No, it's so my answer is good question. My answer is Booches, because I love Booches. I'm a very loyal fan. So 2 cheeseburgers at Booches. I'm kind of a plain guy, just get mustard on there. And then I get a cup of chili. Their chili is awesome.
That is good.
But I don't want a cup of chili in the middle of July, so I'll
Yeah.
probably get chips. But right now, 2 burgers and a cup of chili at Booches.
Okay.
And a Coke.
Best advice you have ever been given?
Oh gosh, that's a good one.
I know.
This is going to sound interesting, but I actually think about it pretty often. I got it from one of my managers at KPMG, and he told me, Connor, you're going to need, if you want to be a high performer, you're going to have to pick the things that you just aren't that great at. And I know that sounds wild, right? But his point was, if you really, really want to make a difference on a few things, you can't be Mr. Everything on everything, right? So what are those things that you either need to pass off or that you're just going to do a passable job at, right? You're just, if you're going to be a serious professional, not everything you do that you sign your name on is going to be the best thing you've ever produced, but some things have to be. So pick the things that you're good at and pick the things you're bad at and stick with them. That is the advice I've gotten that like really has real world application, you know?
I like that.
That's a good one. Okay. Cardinals game or Blues game?
Cardinals game.
Okay. What Mizzou sports moment do you wish you could relive personally? Like any moment in Mizzou sports.
It happens the same, right? I can't redo it.
Oh, that's good. Good take on your question.
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? So the question is not we redo the like
no, just like that you could relive.
Okay, that I can relive. Something.
And I guess I say relive, or that you could be there for.
That I could be there for, sure. Well, I've been really fortunate to grow up during an era of Mizzou athletics where I've been alive for a lot of amazing things that we've done, some of the biggest games we've ever played. That being said, I given the choice, couldn't not go back to Arrowhead in 2007 and relive that game. I mean, that's the basic answer, yeah. And part of me as like a Mizzou guy wishes I had a more like niche reference, but how could you not want to go back for what that rivalry means to both communities, what that game meant to our program? How could you not pick it?
Yeah.
Were you there?
No, we weren't.
I was.
We weren't.
I was too.
We bought. We have a place out at.
Is it because it was in Kansas City and not St. Louis?
Made an impact, certainly. No, we have a lake house out at a place called Innsbruck. My family does, smack in between St. Louis and Columbia, so some of our St. Louis folks may be familiar with it. But we were always really hardline that we weren't going to do like TV or internet out there. It's an outdoorsy place, right? Okay. We get away. But we were going to be there the day that game happened. So the reason we have DirecTV in Innsbruck today in 2026 is because 19 years ago we had to have it to watch that football.
Wow.
That's
the weather was awful.
That's a true sign.
Yeah.
Painted my chest to sit in the house.
Really?
Yeah. I was 12.
Was that the game? No, that was a different game where you hung the stuffed animal on your neighbor's tree, right?
Yeah. Okay. It was a basketball game. Yeah. We grew up across the street from KU fans.
Oh, awful.
We grew up. They were like sisters
Not
to
them,
us.
But
they were like sisters to us, and 362 days out of the year we were like family. But 2 basketball games and 1 football game a year.
Yeah.
Don't even look across the street.
Before we move on, could we answer this question?
What?
What would you?
What would I?
Yeah.
I don't. So that's probably the easiest, the most positive one. But if I kind of want to like morph it a little bit to Connor's take on it, like if you could redo the 2012 Norfolk State game.
Sorry. I had a visceral reaction.
That's funny because when you
We
said
don't
like that, I
acknowledge
could,
those things in here.
but when you said could I go back and redo, that instantly popped into my head.
Yeah.
Instantly. But I would say either KU, which was huge, or was it? I think it was 2003, the Nebraska game, the home game.
We won that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
not that I would redo, that I would relive, that I would go back.
Yeah. I thought you would say like one of your volleyball games, and you could enter and like make the game-winning kill.
Why are we calling
beat the
attention to the
#1
fact
team
that
in the
like I
country.
didn't get to play much?
Well, that's how we redo it. Right?
Sure.
That was going to be my pick. I would have picked June 16th, 1954. Do you know what happened that day? I was not alive yet.
I know what happened that
What
day.
happened that day?
Mizzou baseball won the College World Series.
Yeah.
You know who we beat in the championship game?
Was it Kansas? No. I don't know who they beat.
I don't know.
The Rollins Tars.
It was right on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know if that's a university still.
Did you say
Rollins College, located in Winter Park, Florida.
the Tars?
Tars was their
T-A-R-S.
T-A-R-S.
Like Tar Heels, like
tar
that kind of thing.
Heels, tar pits. Yeah.
The robot in Interstellar.
I just like champions and championships. I'd like to.
I've met 4 of the guys that were on that team when we celebrated.
One up me there, didn't you?
Well, I guess I have to try.
Okay. So is it back to me?
That's back to you.
Okay, Connor, what is your favorite Mizzou memory?
Pretty hard to beat your freshman year winning the SEC East with your buddies in the stands. My fraternity, our block of seats were the first 3 rows at like the 30-yard line. So please don't rush the field. We were the first 3 on the field.
Different rules back then.
Different rules in those days. The fines weren't that crazy. But man, I mean, beating A&M and Manziel, and at the year after he had won the Heisman, and go into the SEC championship, announcing we were like on the scene, like I said, I mean, that was amazing. I could never, being a student here, I could never replicate that.
Did you think it was just going to be like that all the time then?
No. I'd been through
around long
I'd been through the trials at that point. My dad just shook me by my shoulders that 2003 day when we beat Nebraska. He was like, "This is a big deal. You're 8 and you don't understand." I'm like, "Okay, all right."
Could you imagine being like an out-of-state student and that was your freshman year and you didn't really know much about Mizzou, but you like college football and you're like, "Well, I guess this is what it's like all the time being a Mizzou fan."
Yeah, with my out-of-state friends, I was like, "Okay, guys, a couple of pointers. 1, you hate Kansas. I know you don't get why, but you hate them. Okay. 2, it's not always like this, so really cherish it."
Yeah. That is the one and only game that I ever rushed the field on, was the Nebraska game. That 2003 game.
Oh, you're flipping back 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he just said the Nebraska game in 2003.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
What?
You just confused me. Okay. So are we ready for the...
Yeah.
All right. I need to know the story of this.
I do too, because I do not know the story of this. And when I saw it, I instantly knew it was the one. Your dad sent us 2 cute photos of you as a kid. One carving a pumpkin. I can't remember what the other one was. Then there's a picture of the pumpkin that you carved.
Yep.
There was a really special looking AI-ish photo of like half your face being a tiger
Yeah.
and the other half not. And you're in front of the columns.
Oh, I'm getting so worried.
But this hands down was the
I can't
winner.
believe he
Please
shared
show this to the
I know
camera.
what it is. I know what picture he shared with you.
You saw
You
me
know-
in the copy room
you know-
making this.
You know, I'm going to show it in a minute. There was a time, because I know this photo exists, where I really thought I had made it out from the danger of this existing. It's not that bad, but oh god.
It was when I opened it. I was like, this is it. This is it. This is the winner.
Whose jersey is that? Is that a Phil Pressey jersey?
That's a Phil Pressey jersey.
Did
yeah.
was this like a birthday gift? You had like a photo shoot? Like, why is there special lighting?
This is what you
Is that
get.
Stall Cup?
This is what you get, Dad, for me being a good son. My dad, he like I say he doesn't have hobbies, he has obsessions, and like I'm the same in that regard.
Yes.
Like what I say about how my dad solves a problem is that he obliterates it like it's wronged him on a personal level. Okay.
He is big on photography now,
But
right?
he also approaches his hobbies and interests that way. And so at the time, his like big hobby was getting into photography. And so he couldn't just like take some nice pictures of landscapes and things. He got green screens and taught himself Photoshop. It's very impressive. Like he teaches himself things in like at a high level.
Wow.
And so he wanted to practice photography crap all the time. And he was like, "Oh, I've got an idea, son. Well, let's do like an athlete photo shoot." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that sounds fun." You know, not knowing that, how old am I probably here? Like 14 years old. 16 years later, he'd use it as
27.
ammunition. Yeah. I've put on 70 pounds since this photo, I think. So,
That's a good one.
Thanks, Bob.
oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Dad. Love
All right,
you.
so you.
I think you're older in that photo than Blair is in his photo. So
Oh,
that's
100%.
Yeah.
I
That's a
do have a
comfort.
couple of you that age where like you are true like head on fire ginger.
Yeah.
Like your hair is
Yeah,
like
it's a little brighter.
orange.
Mhm.
Yeah. But now we need you get to come over here and pin that up.
And don't be the first person to knock the
I would
board off the
suggest
wall.
sharing a push pin with somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who would you suggest? Roman Alexander?
Bob Brendel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. He's out of town. Look at that. Awesome. It's official. Right next to Mitch Morris.
Yeah. Sandwich between 2 Mizzou legends.
Multiple. You got
That's right where
Well,
I
I mean,
Smith?
he's right between.
That's right
Mitch
where I
and
live,
Keegan.
really.
That's what I mean. Yes.
just in proximity to Mizzou legends at all
That's
times.
the headspace.
all right. We did it.
We did it. Somebody we have talked about often on this podcast is finally here.
Well, thank you guys for having. It's not often you get to sit in a room with 3 Mizzou Athletics titans like Loretta Jones, Dave Matter, and Steve Sowers. So it's been my pleasure.
Say it louder and Bob Brundle will hear you and he can come down and be the 4th. Hall of Famer.
Oh,
Now
man.
we need to get this on the St. Louis U High website and see if they'll play it. Maybe on
Yes.
their YouTube, or maybe they just play it over the intercom, like during first period. Next week.
They have activity period. They have 45 dead minutes
Yeah,
after second
exactly.
period.
Honestly, I think we'll have this ready by Saturday, right, producer Steve?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure's
No,
on.
it'll
We'll
be-
just put it on the big screen before the basketball game.
Oh, fabulous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we
Worst
can do that.
ideas.
Connor, I think it's really cool because you have such a passion, and you always have had a passion. And sometimes when people step into like a role that you kind of have and stuff like that, they feel the need to like hide it. But you've done it in a way that's like professional and haven't hit it one bit.
Yeah.
I think that's a slippery slope to walk, and I think it's really cool that you're able to do what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Being a fan and stuff like that.
No,
like,
I
it's
appreciate
hard.
that.
It's hard to like not be like fanboy and stuff like that all the time, but like the way that you've done it is like awesome.
No, that's really kind, Steve. I appreciate that very much. I think about it often.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not lost on me that my rise here wasn't that I was very blessed to be athletic and become, you know, a big time Mizzou football player like I wanted to when I was 9 years old, right? But I had other skills, and I always it's a tightrope for me of okay, I'm going to lead as a fan because that's where I came from, but my professionalism is like so vitally important to me too. So no, I appreciate that. That's really kind.
Just wanted to say that. Sorry.
Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
No, that's awesome.
see?
That was so sweet.
Nice. Okay, are we done?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Thanks, Connor.
MIZ.
ZOU.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Connor Jordan.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Good guy.
I
Real
really
good
like
guy.
that dude.
Really great.
Asset to the athletic department.
I love what you said about him too, Steve. He's like it's like a disciplined passion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
It's
where
hard.
he's not a fanboy, he's a fan man. Can we call him that?
He's a fan man, father.
It just lets you know that you still got the passion if you're able to. I don't want to say harness it, but you know.
I have
challenging
not.
thing, and he
I
does
mean,
it
there are a
well.
lot of like diehard Mizzou fans that work for Mizzou. I mean, like a couple of
Yeah.
them sitting in this room. I have never met someone who is just always so inherently positive about Mizzou. And I don't mean he's always thinking it's going to be great,
Right,
you know,
right,
but
right. It's not Pollyanna.
it's always
yeah.
no, it's Mizzou, and it's gonna turn around. It's gonna
Yeah.
be better. It's gonna happen. Like, I'm here for it. You know, we've lost some games, doesn't matter. There's always next season.
Right.
Like, we're gonna bounce back, and just everything that he does, and he is. I mean, that amount of passion that he has for parking,
Yeah.
that is everything that he does in the office.
Well, any fan base has like your level of like cynicism, you know, and like folks are just waiting for the next shoe to drop. But like you can't be that way and work here at the same time.
Absolutely
You know,
not.
it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. Connor's not that way.
No.
Which is one of the many great things about him. I do remember like when he first started working here, he must have introduced himself to me like 5 times.
He was fangirling over you.
He was a little. And at one point, Molly's like, "Who is that guy? He introduced himself to you all the time. Not when I was working here, just when he would start working at Mizzou."
Oh,
And
when
then we
you
joined-
started working here, that was a big day for Connor Jordan. He's like, I met Dave Matter, and I was like, cool.
I'm sure
I've met him many
disappointed.
times.
Yeah. Well, no, he's great. He's got a really, really bright future too.
Yeah.
I mean, he can. There's nothing he can't do in college athletics. I would say just the way his demeanor, how serious he is about the work and work ethic. A lot of the things Mike Alden spoke to one of our groups this morning and like talked about the things he would look for when he's hiring a coach or administrator or anybody in the athletics department. He was AD, and like now that I think back of that list, they kind of all hit
They're all Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's keep him around.
Way to go, Connor.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of things have happened recently that I made note of because I was like, man, this is cool because we're entering the end of winter sports.
Yeah.
You know, like the end of the seasons. And we've had a couple of solids. We had Collier Dyer on our swim and dive team. He finished 3rd in the 1 meter diving at the SECs. So that's pretty huge. Drew Rogers on our indoor track team. He got first in the mile.
SEC champion.
Yeah. Like insane. And
Way to
got
go,
all
Drew.
SEC first team honors again. I think it said that he's the first male athlete to get it 3 times. I think I read
yes.
that fact.
Yes.
Yeah. You know that.
I'll agree with you. Yes, that's true.
And it's like mile champion. I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure that kid could run 2 miles and some before I finished 1.
Well,
Easily. Like,
he
what
is
do you
a
think? What do you
college
think your
athlete.
fastest mile ever was?
I ran track in high school, so
Okay. Well, what do you think your fastest mile was?
I didn't do the mile though. I didn't. That's too much for me. I don't know. I have no idea. My son's a cross country runner. He came home the other day. He's like, I ran 11 miles today. I'm like, jeez,
It's rough.
11 miles. I almost hit him because he was running down his group.
I thought you meant because he said that.
No,
like,
no. His group was running north on Providence, right around like Stony Creek
Yeah.
Inn, and like when I'm going home from work, I'm like, Connor, scoot over.
They scare me.
I know.
They scare me.
Yeah, he's just chugging along.
I mean, I feel good about my 8.5. That's the fastest I've ever run a mile.
Oh, good.
8.5.
I'm like, 7.5, 7.
Of course. Yes, easily.
I was waiting for you to.
Yes.
No, I'm not much of a runner.
Yeah. Okay. Wrestling has Big 12s this week.
That's right. They're there now.
Yeah,
They left this
feel-
morning as of our recording.
Correct. Feel pretty good about them. I think we're going to have some good showings. Women's basketball, at the time of recording, they're at the SEC tournament. They play their first game tonight.
Yep.
And I'm going to say first game. Okay? I'm going to say first game.
Don't want to jinx anything.
Nope. Volleyball hired a new assistant coach.
Yep.
Lauren Cost. Awesome. I got to meet her.
Oh,
She was a stud at K-State.
Was she a teammate of Dawn's?
No, so I think they're
Did they overlap at all?
no, I think Dawn had just finished her senior season and was helping out in the spring,
Oh, okay.
and then that fall Lauren came in and she might have still been helping out a little bit.
Okay.
She was a stud. A stud. We were there about the same time, so I'm very excited about her.
Great. Great. What else is going on?
I still have to read all of them, right? Because you don't have your glasses.
No, I can read now. I increased the font a little bit, or the size.
Have you increased the font on your phone yet? Are you that
Yeah,
level of old?
I did that. Yeah, I did.
I love that.
Happens to us all.
Yeah. Hasn't happened to me yet. I just got the glasses first.
I don't like wearing my glasses very much. Give me headaches. So
That seems counterintuitive as to what glasses do.
I have contacts, so I just wear them. Yeah.
Can
Okay.
you see far away though? You good with that?
Without them,
Yeah.
if I took my contacts out right now, I would not recognize you.
Okay.
You could be Dan Devine for all I know.
Phenomenal choice.
Don Farrow, Dan Devine,
Oh man,
There's a
Gary
spoon
Pinkel,
laying around
you know?
here somewhere.
Ah.
I think.
GP. Okay, what else?
So last week we had a pretty big call.
We did.
The 2026 Hall of Fame class has been selected.
Yeah.
We are not telling anybody yet.
No, it's still a secret.
Yeah, but it has been selected, and it's solid.
It is top notch.
Yeah.
Did Jessica Sowers make the final list? She helped out at a swimming meet once when she was in college.
We can reveal that she did not.
No,
I'll
she
let her
didn't.
know. I'll let her
She
know.
did not.
Maybe next year. Maybe next year for her.
Some men, some women, some.
She
some
did not
sports.
receive enough votes to be moved on to next year's ballot, so we will need you to renominate her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or compete.
yeah. And if you don't, that's fine also.
Or do athletics.
Funny you say that.
Why? But it's a good class. We'll get it out here eventually. We just bear with us.
Yeah. I also on here I feel like we're just going through doing like a little potpourri of events. You talked about how Mike Alden was here speaking to us this morning.
was, yeah.
We also had another guest in the department today that I, as the age that I am, I nerded out. Sally Ann Salsano.
Do you know who this is, Steve?
Do you know who that is?
Not familiar.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
She
You
was
know her work.
the creator and producer of Jersey Shore.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was like her big break. She's done phenomenal amounts of other things since then. But she came and spoke to...
She's a Mizzou grad.
Yeah, she's Mizzou grad. She's receiving an award on campus this evening. She was awesome.
Yeah. Really impressive.
Yeah, she spoke to how, being a television producer and things that she encounters and what she's doing and seeing a shift in the market to sports and incorporating sports and how we are doing a lot of good things here in our department with our social media and our storytelling. And she was able to give some good suggestions and ideas of things that can keep
she has a production
needle
company,
moving.
so she's involved in like sports documentaries, or at least adjacent to those, and has a lot of familiarity. She was awesome speaker.
I really enjoyed listening to her.
Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
Did she not trying to make light of it, but did she reference GTL?
She did not, but she did reference Pauly D saying, "Yeah, buddy," for 18 years.
Okay. All right.
Somebody asked about.
Was he the DJ?
Yeah, DJ.
I think
Pauly
he
D.
DJ'd at the Blue Note.
He absolutely did. He's been to Kansas City. Yes. But she mentioned how somebody had asked, "How do you keep doing the same thing without it getting stale?" You know, like how did you make the decision to? For those who haven't watched Jersey Shore, takes place in a house on the Jersey Shore, but then they had to start mixing up. One season they went to Miami. One season they went to Italy. You know, they tried to do things to make it not exactly the same. And then she was like, "Yeah, you know, that's actually really hard to do, but sometimes like doing the same thing works." And that's what she said. Pauly D's been saying, "Yeah, buddy," for 18 years, and we're gonna keep letting him do it. It worked.
As she was speaking today, I was thinking like she would make a great Mizzou Storytellers guest.
Oh my gosh, yes, we would maybe have to have the button ready. She's a
yeah.
Long Island girl.
Interesting
ride.
vocabulary.
But
yeah,
she was great.
Yeah.
She was great. She had talked about like when Snooki got punched.
I missed that.
And just, yeah, like all these things that people are like, "Oh my God, the show's going to get canceled. This can't happen," and everything. And she's like, "What? But this is real life. Like, we're not making fun of these kids. She's like, this is what I grew
That's
up
who
with.
they
These are
are.
the people I know."
I'm just having Jersey Shore flashbacks in my head. That's all.
I was in the thick of like trying to become an adult when that show was on, you know, so watching that was a guilty pleasure. Just watching and be like, "Man, these kids are crazy."
Just letting them record them.
How many Mizzou reality shows were pitched to her today on her visit?
0.
Mizzou Athletics. I don't know.
Well, not in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure at least one. I'm sure she met with Drink. There might have been a football presentation of some sort.
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also some big podcast news.
There is.
Go ahead.
Producer Steve got a dog.
I got a dog. Yeah, I did get a dog. How do you guys know that?
You told me.
I did.
So he came in the other day and said, "Did you see Steve got a dog?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, he called me." And he's like, "What? He called you to tell you he got a dog?" I said, "No, he called me about something else." And as I picked up the phone, you were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
it's like, "Hello."
That's right. It was like I was focused on like the talk. Yeah, I got a dog. Yeah.
So tell us about it. What kind? What's the name?
His name is Rocky. He's like almost 6 months old. He's a Chihuahua mix of some type. He's got super long legs. Looks like a baby deer. It's kind of. He's doing pretty good with potty training. He doesn't pee in the house.
That's good.
We're almost there with pooping
Okay.
outside, but
It's easier to clean up.
no, it's awesome. We've always had a dog. We lost our dog in April, and we're ready to get back in the game. And so, Rocky Sowers.
Did you forget for a minute that you got a new
I
dog,
know.
or were you just shocked that she
I was
knew?
like, how do you guys know that? And then I remembered Loretta and I had a conversation about something with work, and
Well, Dave
That-
saw
that
it
was
on.
the
was the
Facebook
start of it.
machine. You're on the Facebook machine.
oh yeah, my wife did a post. That's
And then I realized that I was not friends with you on Facebook. So
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
But a fun little anecdote about the dog. So we have a kennel from the last dog, and she lived to be 14. And she used this kennel for 13 years. Not one time did she ever escape out of this kennel. Our new dog escaped out of it on day 6.
What do you like? Pick the lock? How do you get out? Really?
Yes. He sticks his hand and he lifts the lever,
that's
and
amazing.
he got out.
Not amazing for you, but that is amazing.
I know. So here we go. Pumped. Big
love
dog
it.
guy.
That's
Big
great.
dog guy.
Big dog guy.
Love dogs.
I haven't had a dog in a long time. We had 2, and we lost them. I mean, we didn't lose them. They passed away. We didn't like. Well, I don't know where they went. But now we have cats, and we're going to lose them soon, because, and you know this.
Yeah.
So our twin boys, they have a car. They drive now. They leave the house last. They cannot close the garage door.
Ugh.
And it's like the more we remind them, the worse they are about closing it.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife she'll get home first, and the garage door's up. And at some point, the wind's gonna hit the door, and something the cats are just gonna be like, "We're out. See ya."
You can get it's not terrible. It's not really expensive. Like MyQ, have you heard of that? Where you can it's an app. So even if all you have to do is just have a Wi-Fi connection, you can actually have an app. And
Does it cost more than just remembering to close the garage door?
well, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Dave has a whole lot of disposable income now that his boys are both driving and on the insurance.
Insurance is a little.
Responsibility's free.
Yeah.
It's just the hardest thing to do. So.
Well, you know what is available?
What?
Socket Fiber.
Nice.
The fastest, most reliable internet combined with local service and simple billing. Contact Socket today for voice, data, and internet services for your home and business. 1-800-SOCKET3 or visit socket.net.
That's crazy because I was going to say, speaking of insurance, we're brought to you by Shelter Insurance. We're ranked #1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 7 out of the last 8 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
That's right. Now, we don't have to do the read about Nate Bargatze because that
No.
came and went, and we were both there. Were you there?
No, I had a 6th grade basketball game at the same time.
At the same...
I know. 8:50. Was it 8:50?
Brutal.
When was his game? 7:50.
PM.
7:50 was his game.
So,
It was awesome though. It was a great game.
okay, well,
Good.
we're
Nothing
12,000
against Nate
people there?
Bargatze.
Yeah.
But,
He was good. It was good. It was a really good night. It was great for
Yeah.
It was great for Columbia. It was great for the arena. Like to see 12,000 people there for something that's not a Mizzou sporting event
yeah.
is really, really cool. I took our older kids and we sat right behind Loretta and Dave. And okay, I don't know this person. They may be listening. They may be a fan. But I had a real big laugher sitting next to me.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you
And
did.
he overlaughed. You ever meet one of those people?
Oh yeah.
And like the jokes were funny. Like that's the thing about
But
Nate
he was
Bargatze.
laughing when it wasn't even the joke. It was the
Yeah.
build up to the joke.
Yeah. And then he would repeat the punchline. Almost like subconsciously, but I don't know if he knew he was doing it.
Yes.
So every punchline he repeated. And it was a little annoying. But the funny part was at the end of the show, Dave Jones, her husband, he thought that was me. He's like, Dave, you really liked the show, didn't you? I'm like, well, yeah, it was good. He's like, I heard you laughing back there. I'm like, oh no, that wasn't me. I mean, I chuckled,
Yes.
but I wasn't the over laugher.
But it was funny because that Dave was sitting almost directly behind me. And every time I would want to like turn around, because every time this guy would laugh at something that wasn't even the joke.
Yeah, it was like the setup.
Yeah. And it would be a cackle, and I would turn around to like want to say something, but I'd have to look, like make eye contact with that guy on my way around. And I was like, dang it, I can't look behind me anymore.
My sons were like, God, this guy loves Nate Bargatze. I'm like, he sure does. It's
But
great.
he did it with all the comedians.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It's good. He had a good time.
He
What
did.
do you so if you didn't see on social media, I'm talking to our listeners right now. I'm not talking to you guys because you know, but Laird presented Nate Mizzou football and basketball jerseys with his number and 26 on there. Where do you think those are? You think he hung them up, framed them? He is a Vandy fan.
He did. He mentioned that. He mentioned that it was weird being in the building where
Yeah.
Vandy had just lost.
5 days after that
Yes.
game. So
That's a great
Oh,
question.
That is a good
I mean,
question.
Do you think he has like a closet he hangs
I
those
just
things up in?
wonder, like, if you're that big of a celebrity and you get that kind of stuff all the time, like, what do you do with all that?
That would be my guess. Like a closet they're hung in, or like folded in like a storage box.
Maybe he gave it to Greg Warren.
Oh, true.
Possibly.
Who's coming back in April?
He is, yeah, at the Missouri Theater, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. Dave and I both want to go to that.
Yeah, he was really funny.
Yes, he was.
He was really. I wanted him to have a longer set because he was so good.
I mean, I was actually pleasantly. I don't think. Just telling Connor this the other day, actually. Dave Jones and I were trying to figure out when the last time we had seen a live stand-up comedian. You know, because when we were in college, we went every week to the VU.
To the VU, yeah.
To the VU, because we would, magically win comedy parties for us and our friends because we had a friend who worked at the VU. And so we would go to that, and that was great. But I think it was at the Sprint Center in Kansas City when it was the Sprint Center. It was Dane Cook.
Dane Cook. I knew you were going to say that for some
Dane
reason.
Cook.
Yeah.
It was like, and I think that might have been the last time and possibly one of the only times, and that had to have been 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe more. It was right around that Superstore movie that he had come out with Jessica Simpson.
You guys have been together 20 years?
Dave and I have been together for, let's see, this year we'll have been married 22. We dated for 10 years. We've been married for almost 12.
Wow, didn't know that. I'm not upping you at all, but last time I went to Deja Vu, we saw Tracy Morgan, and it was literally like 2 weeks before his very bad accident.
No way.
And we this is awful. We met the guy who died in that accident.
Oh.
Like sat in a booth with him for a while.
Dang.
Yeah, it was really sad.
That's a weird flex, Dave.
It's not a flex. It's just more of like a ooh. Yeah.
Tracy Morgan came to Columbia?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Look up
Yeah.
whenever the date
Well,
of
that
that
accident. Well, yeah, the accident wasn't
was.
that long ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Screech there. Dustin
Screech. I
Diamond
remember when he was here.
R.I.P.
at the VU. Yeah.
I think that night, unless it was a different Dustin Diamond visit to Columbia, he led, you know how like Marching Mizzou goes to the bars? It's actually
Yeah.
not Marching Mizzou.
No, it's not.
It's
Yes,
not.
it's very clearly not.
It's not. Dr. Knops, it's not Marching Mizzou. But he led them around in the bars. And
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, did marching, whatever that's called.
Man, we used to go to the VU all the time to see comedy shows. I bet
man.
I have seen some good comedians before they were
Oh,
huge.
yeah.
I could not tell you a single one of who they were.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to comedy early tonight, and it was so that we could go and get
Right.
the trays. It was like,
Do you remember the old VU?
no,
You're too
Candy
young for
Factory
that.
VU.
Yeah.
No, I am just too young,
Oh,
like
it
just
was
a
here
little bit
my-
too young.
It was here my freshman, sophomore year, and we went to the VU a lot in college.
No, I never went to that one.
The great
Did you
Freddie
ever-
DeMarco, who we mentioned a couple weeks ago on the show. Yeah.
No,
just
the
passed.
one place that I have where I do you guys don't even know what that is, was George's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, George's was here when I was here.
Yeah.
But nope, I've only ever known the VU that was behind the diner.
Well, the VU pizza was amazing.
VU
Come-
pizza?
They had a pizza oven.
Oh, in the OG
in
VU.
the original.
Okay.
And you go get a slice, and Freddie would be back there, and amazing pizza.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could have used that many nights at the VU.
Just a good
Some
meal.
solid pizza.
Just a good meal. Okay. Do
Anything
we have
else to
anything
add?
else?
to add to our bar tour of Columbia?
If Connor, when I asked Connor his favorite Mizzou memory, and if he would have given the line, I would have jumped up and like high-fived him.
I thought he was ready. I thought
we were queuing him up with the question.
I thought he was gearing up for that answer.
Because
to be
you
honest with
know, Loretta,
Yes.
our best Mizzou memories have yet to happen.
Classic.
This is Mizzou Storytellers.
I'm Loretta Jones.
I'm Dave Matter.
We'll talk to you next week.